Good afternoon. Good afternoon, and welcome to Missouri Community Service Commission's first virtual Life After AmeriCorps event. My name is Christina Johnson, and I am one of the 3 field program officers for the commission. We thank you all for taking the time to join us this afternoon. For the past year, we know that you all have provided excellent service and have made an impact on our communities. Thank you for your dedication and your commitment to serve as a AmeriCorps member. Today, our mission is to provide resources and help answer questions that will help you transition into life after AmeriCorps. We will cover the Segal Education Award and possible career opportunities. You all may have questions like, what are the next steps? How can I use my Segal Education Award? What does my education award cover? Are there other service opportunities out there for me? What jobs are available? We hope to provide you all information regarding these topics and hope to answer any questions. I encourage all of you all today to take lots of notes and ask lots of questions. So thank you once again for joining us, and thank you for your services and taking the time today to join our Life After AmeriCorps event. So now we are going to hear from some great stories from some of our alumni, Miss Danielle, Natalie, Anna, and Julie.
My name is Danielle Nygaard, and I'm the AmeriCorps Services Manager for a VISTA Intermediary project at Mission St. Louis in St. Louis. And I was asked here today to share a little bit about my experience, life after VISTA, life after AmeriCorps. And honestly, in order to share that experience, I feel like I need to go back to before AmeriCorps and kind of what brought me to do service. So I taught in the private schools here in St. Louis for 8 years prior to my AmeriCorps service. And a couple things had occurred that made me decide to leave teaching. The first of which is, if you know and love a teacher, you know that their job doesn't end at the 3 p.m. bell. They go into the evenings and into the weekends. And this was really starting to take its toll on me. I was realizing that I couldn't really figure out that work-life balance for myself. And that if I couldn't figure that out, then it wasn't going to be sustainable for very much longer. Another thing that occurred while I was teaching is in 2014, the murder of Mike Brown occurred and the Ferguson uprising. And I was asked to have conversations with my students and facilitate conversations with my students about racial inequities and everything that was happening within Ferguson. And I realized that my own knowledge and understanding was woefully lacking in my ability to have these conversations. So all of this kind of came together, and I made the decision in 2017 to leave teaching. But then I came across AmeriCorps Vista, and I found out that there was positions in AmeriCorps where you could be building capacity for a year and specifically serving in communities that were focused on alleviating poverty. And I thought that that would be a really great connection between that service component that I really felt from teaching, as well as the ability to develop my skills and understanding and knowledge base. And so I started applying to VISTA positions here in St. Louis, and eventually was connected to Mission St. Louis and their Beyond Jobs program. And so I spent a year with that program, enjoyed it so much that I signed on to be a VISTA leader. And then, as I say, sometimes you do your job well enough that somebody says, hey, we can't keep going without you. And I was fortunate that my supervisor offered me a full-time salaried position as the AmeriCorps Services Manager for the intermediary project that I had been the VISTA leader for. And that's what I've been doing ever since. So in this position, I support VISTAs as they move into, through, and beyond service. And it shouldn't be surprising that, like most AmeriCorps members, I feel very connected to this work because of my own experience experience as a Vista and my own experience of national service, the passion that folks have when they enter into national service and wanting to support them while they move through this experience and seek what comes after it is really a big part of what I love doing, what I love doing about my job, and it allows me to stay connected to national service. So thanks for letting me share my story.
My name is Natalie Walker. I guess I'll start with a brief introduction. I'm currently the Director of Transitional Services with Compass Health. So AmeriCorps Vista. I graduated with my undergrad in 2009 with a degree in criminal justice and minor in social work. I was really excited to getting into the workforce field. However, there wasn't a lot of things available. So I had a good friend of mine who was serving for AmeriCorps Vista, and she mentioned the opportunity. I did apply, and I was able to get the position. One of the things that I enjoyed most about AmeriCorps Vista was just the experience that I had. I served in Jefferson City, Missouri at the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, with the Big Brothers and Big Sisters program. While there, my position was recruiter. And so this position really helped me perfect my skill of public speaking. I did a lot of recruiting throughout the Jefferson City area. Addition to that, they allowed me to create their handbook, which also was something that later in life I eventually ended up using when I started to dabble in grant writing. My experience with AmeriCorps was such a learning experience for me. I was able to receive the stipend, and I did use that to help pay off some of my loans, which is also a great benefit. After completing my term with AmeriCorps Vista, I was actually offered a full-time position, but I really wanted to go back to school and really gain more skills in the field that I'm currently working in. I don't hear a lot about AmeriCorps Vista, which I think is almost a disservice because it's such a great program and it's such a great opportunity for people who are, fresh out of college and really trying to gain the skills to really get into the workforce. AmeriCorps was such a great experience. One of my favorite things that I did enjoy about it was the training opportunity. I was able to go to Albuquerque, Mexico, and they did a seminar on poverty, which has stuck with me throughout my career. So that's my experience with AmeriCorps Vista. Thanks and have a great day.
I'm Anna Schwartz, and my service has been with InterServe in St. Joseph, Missouri, and I've been doing that for a little over 6 years. My experience as an AmeriCorps senior volunteer has been extremely rewarding. I had always planned to get involved with volunteer work when I retired, and my friends knew that. One of my friends recommended me for the board of directors at InterServe, and I accepted that position, not having any idea what I was getting into, really. It's been so much fun to get to know the people that work at InterServe and other volunteers and the many clients that we serve. While I was on the board, I found ways that I could get more involved, and one of those was through Meals on Wheels. My husband and I deliver meals to 17 or 18 households every Tuesday morning. It takes a couple of hours, and it is probably the most meaningful 2 hours of our week. And it's just a time to exchange a few pleasantries with the people and deliver them a nutritious, hopefully tasty meal. We may be the only people they see all day, and the food we take may be the only meals that they get. Having a little bit of background in financial matters, I served as a financial aid advisor for a college during my career, and tax returns are required to complete the financial aid application. So I knew a little bit about tax returns. And I was intrigued by tax counseling for the elderly program that InterServe does, and volunteered to do that a few years ago. One sweet, sweet lady asked me for some special help. She had been told that she only had a few months to live, and she wanted me to look at this year's income and help her organize it so that it would be easier for her children to file her taxes after she was gone. And that was a tough one, but I was able to help her. And she had such an optimistic up attitude toward everything. I was truly amazed. Life after volunteering with AmeriCorps Senior, I'll continue to do Meals on Wheels with my husband as long as we're physically able, until maybe someone's bringing meals to us. Although my term is expired with the board for InterServe, I will continue to serve on a committee or two there, probably on the volunteer committee. And I will continue to encourage all of my friends to do what they can to serve in the community and help others. My husband and I also have been asked to be on a couple of boards for other organizations that are dedicating to helping those in need. For me, life after AmeriCorps is more AmeriCorps and more volunteering.
Hi, my name is Julie Dalton, and I joined AmeriCorps in 2017 and was a member until 2010. I worked with the Purdy School District and was a reading coach during that time. It was a very good experience for me due to the fact that we were able to help several families when the ice storm hit Joplin and then a tornado hit Purdy, Missouri. And we were the first ones to go out and help those families and those people recover from such devastation. I also had the opportunity to work with several students who were struggling readers and who had a really difficult time being on grade level with their reading. And it really made me realize that teaching was the area that I wanted to go into and to continue to make a difference in students' lives. With that, I used my AmeriCorps scholarship money, and I received my master's in education with that money. After that, I became a teacher and taught for 10 years. And then I pursued my specialist degree and became a principal and returned back to the Purdy School District, where I began my career with education in the reading coach area with AmeriCorps. It has been a great experience. It has taught me a lot. It taught me about how to help people and to serve others. With that, I continue to want to serve and help those in my community and also in the Purdy community, and to continue to make a difference. I encourage all of you to continue with what you learn from AmeriCorps with those leadership skills and being able to help others in need and to make a difference in the world. We need more of us so that our world can be a better place.
Okay, thank you guys for taking a moment to look at from workforce development.
Christina, go ahead and do that again. You were pretty jarbled there. Gotta love state of Missouri internet.
Sorry, can you hear me a little better now?
Absolutely can.
Okay, so now we're going to hear from Chad Luchin, and he is from Workforce Development.
Hello, I'm Chad, and thanks for having me. As Christina mentioned, I am with the Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development. I specifically work in the Office of Workforce Development. So we're going to talk a little bit today about primarily our website, jobs.mo.gov, and some of the things it offers, but I'm also going to throw a little bit in about what our job centers offer. And there are 30 job centers scattered around the state, so wherever you live, you should be relatively close to one. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Give me just a second. Okay, so you should all be seeing the training website at this point. I hope so. Scott, can you give me a nod? If we're good, good. All right. So this is, as it says, our training website. I'm in it right now because if I manipulate data in this, I'm not changing anybody's real-time, real-world data. Just for a kind of a quick look, this is what the front page of our website looks like. It is jobs.mo.gov. Now, any legal to work person can create a profile on this website. So you can go on here, you can create a login as a job seeker. Employers create logins as well. And then you can use that to connect. It is similar to some other job search websites. The biggest difference between us and some of the paid websites you may see, or some of the other websites out there, is we are 100% free for everything we do. We're free employer services, we're free job seeker services. So you can use us for any of those things. So when you create a profile, you will land on something called your dashboard, which looks like this. This is this picture scrolls, and then it has some things down here. Now, this profile I created in training was for an individual who wants to be a cook. So it's thrown some related job opportunities up there. Now, again, this is our training website. So these are, made up businesses. This isn't real data from the real world. It's going to have some information here about Career Explorer, career information, programs and services. You can place your background, your training, education, certificates, employment history. You can job search with it. You can build multiple resumes in the system. One of the unique things about our system is it does allow you to build up to 10 different resumes in it. Some major reasons why you might want more than one is if you are targeting specific types of jobs and maybe have a couple of different skill sets. It can be advantageous to build a resume that really discusses one type of skills and then another resume that discusses a second type of skills, especially if they're completely different. For instance, myself, I have spent a significant amount of time. I've worked with the state for a long time, but I've had pretty varied jobs. I started out in the Department of Corrections. And my work in the Department of Corrections is obviously quite different than my work in workforce development. So my resumes for each types of job may not push the exact same skills. I don't want to eat up too much space. So I do recommend building more than one resume. You can also create virtual recruiters where you can create a system job alert, just like it says, where you can make a predetermined job search path with predetermined interests in that job search path and have it run on a set basis. If you want to run that job search once a week, it'll run it and then send you the responses. If you want to run it daily, you can. Monthly, you can. I do recommend more often than monthly, obviously. Of course, messages can be received here. There's some calendar work. Also, you can find some current event calendars for the job centers in your area. Wherever you live, each job center is going to have some events going on. As they have those events going on, you can certainly look at those sorts of things. So just to get a little deeper look, my little made up guy here, Johnny No, he's going to job search. So we're going to go here to the job search function. I'm going to actually click on it instead of clicking near it. Now my computer's wanting to run slow. Gotta love that state internet connection. Didn't you say, Scott? I'm in the Truman building in Jefferson City, for those of you who are wondering where I'm at. So you would think I would have decent access. So it's going to bring me here to a quick scene. So I can search based on occupation group. So different types of major occupations. I can search on location. I can type in a zip code or a city and search that way. I can search by minimum acceptable salary. I could search by education level, different types of employers. This part right here, for those of you who are interested, a preferred employer means an employer that we're specifically working with. They have a profile in jobs.mo.gov. They've been vetted by our customer service unit. We know they're a real employer, and they are listing jobs directly in jobs.mo.gov. The other ones are jobs that we can spider in. What I mean by that is jobs does go out and it pulls job orders and job descriptions and hiring posts from other websites and spiders them into jobs.mo.gov. It's not 100% all inclusive. It doesn't get everyone from everyone, but it does get a lot of them. So sometimes we may have more jobs posted than some other websites do because we're peeling theirs. But on the downside, it is great. The only bad thing about it is it sometimes can create duplication. So if you start to see the same job posted a couple of times, maybe that company posted it across multiple platforms and we spidered it all in, and it can sometimes duplicate because of that. So you can also do more advanced. You can base it off specific employers. You can base it off your resume. So I'm going to job search based off this individual's resume. Since I can select multiple resumes, it's going to give me a list. This guy only has one, so we're going to click head chef. I can add an area selection if I want. Now this is the training site. It's only good for Cole County, Jefferson City. So I can't really expand it out, different education levels, all that sort of thing. And I'm going to click search. So it brought up a job of a type of job that might fit for this individual because of, I asked for a really high pay scale is why it only brought me one, and it's the training site. So I am going to show you a real quick, let me grab, I'm going to bring in another one. This is the live site. Now this is my staff workplace. So as a staff member, this is what I have here. So I am going to assist an individual. And just so I don't share anybody's information, I'm going to assist myself. So this is me. Okay, and then I'm going to jump to the dashboard as if I'm logged in as a user, if that makes sense. So now it should look very familiar, right? We see this dashboard again. It looks like this. Brought up some different jobs that it thinks makes sense for me. I play with my profile because I have a job. So that's why it's kind of a little all over the map. It's got a front desk clerk and accounts payable for Lebanon School District. So it's got my employment history, my education history, any certificates that I have, different applications, my messages, all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to use it to job search. You'll notice that the widgets, as we call them, are in a different order as well. So you can customize it however you want. And I'm going to job search real quick, just to kind of give you a brief idea. So I'm going to job search. Let's use Sedalia, Missouri zip code. Now I have it set for me to be within 50 miles of whatever zip code I go to. So as you can see in our live site, it brought up 5,644 jobs matching my criteria. The reason I wanted to show you that is because it is a very large database. We have a lot of information in there. Any questions about the website? I'm going to take a quick look at the chat. Okay, I don't see anything specific in the chat. Any questions about the website, anybody? If you want to unmute yourself and ask, I'm fine for that. No? Okay, so then I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that we do at our job centers. Like I mentioned, we have 30 job centers scattered across the state, and those are available for both virtual and in-person services at this time. You can contact them, and you can call them and set up a time to have a virtual conversation with them, or you can go in person at this point. It's just really up to whatever you're comfortable with. So what do they do there? Well, their job in the short is to try to help you find a job, whether that be help you with direct to work access. Do you need help with applications? Do you need help with your resume? Are you work ready and you just need help doing job searching? They have computers there, printer, copier, scanner, fax. It's all available to you, and everything is absolutely free of charge. You can go there, you can use their resource areas, and you can job search using them. Or if you need more assistance, they can help with, they do workshops, whether it be how to write a resume, basic computer skills. All of those different things are available. We also administer what we call the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, and several other streams of funding through those things that we can help with additional training or educational opportunities to help you find a job if you qualify. So if you're not quite work ready, you need a little bit more training, maybe you need some educational opportunities, you may qualify for assistance through that Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. There's several different ways to qualify, so it would take a long time for me to kind of explain every one of them right now. If you think you may need that assistance, I definitely recommend you go to your local job center and have a conversation with a WIOA representative. Any questions about job centers and what they do? I've kind of shoved it down real short. We kind of tight window here.
Thanks,
Go
Chad.
ahead, Scott.
If you have any questions, go ahead and feel free to put them in the chat or raise your hand and we can unmute you as well too. Nothing coming in as of yet, Chad.
Okay. Well, I've kind of covered briefly what the website does. It will do a lot more, but if we dig kind of deeper in it, we can, like I said, build up to 10 different resumes. It can help you organize those resumes. You can upload a resume. If you want to use one you already have existing, if you have an electronic format, you can create from scratch. You can send resumes through the system to employers if they're in our system. And you can definitely use it to job search. And then, of course, like I said, if you need impersonal assistance, then that's what the job centers are there for. Whatever it is you need in your quest towards finding gainful employment or skilling up for better employment, we want to do what we can to help you.
Thank you, Chad. I do appreciate you joining us this afternoon. Once again, does anyone have any questions for Chad or how any of this works?
And you can go to jobs.mo.gov/career centers, put in your zip code, and it'll give you a list of the job centers closest to that address. So if you don't know where your local job center is, then you can certainly find it that way.
The only thing I would add for members on this one is when you're building your resume, which I'm sure you've already done a couple of them, but when you're building these, make sure obviously you include your AmeriCorps service. That's just a given, but also include any other volunteer service that you have. We know from research that people who volunteer are 27% more likely to get a job. And if you live in a rural area, all the way to 55% more likely to get a job. So make sure you're listing out all the volunteer opportunities. Employers want to see that.
I can tell you from my end, working with employers, Scott is absolutely correct on that. I have worked with Missourians and helped them find jobs now for about 9 years. And in that 9 years, I've never found an employer that didn't like people who like to get involved. So, well, unless nobody has any questions, then I will turn it back over to Scott and Christina. If there's anything you need from me, I'll go ahead and stay on in case you need something.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Chad. I do appreciate it. Okay, so now we are going to hear from Scott. He is our executive director here at the commission, and he's going to go over the Siegel Education Award.
He is as soon as he shares his screen. There we go. Well, hello again, everybody. So I'm just going to kind of go briefly over some stuff that you've probably already heard before from your programs, but some other things that we can chat about through my experience working with AmeriCorps members all over the country to kind of see where we can work with you to kind of support what you're doing and your next steps, whatever that may be. Throughout this, again, please feel free to chime in the chat or raise your hand. We can unmute you too. You're a very talkative bunch here today, but if you want to chat, we're happy to answer any questions you may have too. So that's me. If you ever want to get a hold of me or anyone on my staff, all you need to do is go to showmeservice.org. Again, showmeservice.org. And it's got our email address and phone number up there. We are happy to serve with you, not only during your AmeriCorps time, but you are a member of this national service family. And you are going to be joining an alumni group of over 1 million members. So we want to be able to support you, as with Chad, going through your career advancement, figuring out what's next. We want to be able to support you in figuring out, like some of our alumni talked about today, how you can get back into the volunteer world after you've done your service. Maybe you want to talk about Peace Corps. Maybe you want to look at another AmeriCorps type of service. We can help you with that too. So please feel free, no matter how long since you served in AmeriCorps, reach out to us at the commission. We're happy to help you with that. So we're going to talk a couple of different things here in the few moments I have. We're going to talk about the institutions around the state and around the country that are going to match your education award. We're going to talk about what your education award is going to cover in terms of expenses and how much time you have to use that ed award before it goes away. And if you run out of time, how can you extend that education award, how you can transfer your education award potentially to other folks, and then as well as that too, how, of course, do you access this award? Where does it go? Who gets the money? All that good stuff. And then how you can actually utilize it for a lot of different things that you may not have thought about. And then finally, we'll talk about resources that can help you out as well too. So where can you use your education award? Everyone assumes, okay, obviously the education award can be paid for college. It can, it absolutely can. But that's not all it can pay for. Some of you may be looking at a trade school, maybe looking at vocational technology services or anything like that. Your education award can be used for those trainings as well. As long as the institution is in the good graces of the federal government, it counts. So colleges and universities are obvious, but also again, trade schools. If you're looking to do a trade, which many people are, you can get some of your education award utilized or all your education award utilized to pay for those trainings. It can also be used potentially for schools overseas. It depends on the situation, but you can do that as well too. There's outdoor education programs. If you're looking at conservation work, that can count for your education award too. And then as we already mentioned, international programs as well. So the key here is if you ever have a question on where your education award can be utilized, there is the Siegel Education Award National Trust. Their 800 line is on our website, as well as if you actually go to the My AmeriCorps portal, which you all have access to, you have the help desk, and that goes to the trust as well too. You can call that trust line, and they can tell you exactly what will and what won't work for your Ed Award. So if you ever have a question on that, feel free to give those folks a call. So what can the Education Award cover? Again, everyone knows the Education Award can be used to pay for college tuition. But what you may not know is it can also be used to pay for books, supplies, a computer while you're going to school, transportation, room and board. All of this is potentially usable for your education award in order to keep you moving upwards in whatever you want to do next. It can be used for courses and training programs approved by the Department of Veteran Affairs. So if you're a vet and want to do some extra training programs, your Ed Award can be used for that too. And of course, the big one that again, everyone knows about is paying off those student loans. As somebody who will be paying off student loans until the day he dies, this is a big one. So working with your student loan creditor to get the education award to get rid of that, or at least a portion of that, is a viable option for your Ed Award as well too. Just checking our chat here. Nope, nothing in there yet. Okay, good. So when does your education award expire? You have 7 years to your education award. That sounds like a lot of time, but I got to tell you, every single year, millions of education award dollars get handed right back to the U.S. Treasury because AmeriCorps members didn't use it in the 7-year time frame. Millions of dollars are being wasted because members didn't use their education award in the time allotted. So that goes back into, it's not just for college, it's not just for student loans. You earn this money. You served your community, you earn the money, use it. And again, if you don't know how to use it, call us, call the National Service Trust. Either one of them are going to be working with you to figure out how we can use that money. Because the last thing I want to see happen is we give that money back. We want to give it to you to advance you, not to give it back to the treasurer. You can access your entire award or part of your award until the total is used or until the award expires. So if you only need a couple $100 this year for books, you can use that. And then 5 years down the road, if you decide to go back for a master's degree or doctorate or whatever, you can use it for that as well too. You have that 7 years to use it until it runs dry. You will get an email notice from the My AmeriCorps portal if your email is up to date in the My AmeriCorps portal. So make sure you do that. You're going to get a notice about 6 to 12 months before your expiration date shows up. So you're getting a fair warning of when that's going to go away. So please keep an eye out for that. And again, as I just mentioned, make sure you're updating your email with us. And when I say yes, the My AmeriCorps portal, so that if you change your email, we don't lose you in the shuffle. So you can also extend your education award past the 7 years, but I'm not going to lie, it's not easy. It's a hassle. And I really recommend you just use the education award in the 7 years. But If you do wish to extend your education award, you can get approval for up to a year extension. And you must apply for that extension in writing prior to the education date. So there's no retroactive here. If it's already past the 7 years, your money's been returned. But if you're like in year 6 and you just don't know how you're going to spend all that money down in one more year, you can write out a request for extension. But again, the easiest thing to do is just spend the money in the 7 years. That's the way to go. One of the things we got into the Serve America Act, which was one of the first acts that President Obama signed in 2009, was transferability of the education award. Now, there's a couple hitches with this. First, you've had to be 55 or older when you were serving. So I'm looking at a lot of the video screens on here. Most of you don't count. But if you were 55 and older when you served, you may transfer your education award to a child, grandchild, or foster child. Once you transfer the award, the beneficiary has 10 years to use it. The idea here is if you give it to a 10-year-old grandkid, they're going to have some time before they go to college. So they give you a little extra time for that beneficiary to use the education award. They cannot put loans in forbearance like AmeriCorps members do because they're not a AmeriCorps member. They're just receiving the loan. And they cannot use the education award at some of the institutions that you could have used the education award at. But I have a lot of members who are serving in AmeriCorps as a gift year. They've retired and they're never going to be going back to college, and their student loan debt isn't like us millennials and beyond. So they are giving their education award to somebody else. What I can tell you is on the policy front, we are trying, and we continue to work with Congress to try to expand this. What I would love to see happen, and this is not going to happen tomorrow, and it's not going to happen the next day, but one of the things I've been working on for years is to try to get the education award 100% transferable to family members. I don't see why an older brother can't serve in AmeriCorps and pay for his younger sister to go to college. I don't see a problem with that. So we're trying. But right now, as it is today, the transferability is only for those 55 and older, and only to children, grandchildren, and foster children. So how do you make your education award go farther? We have schools across the country that are national service schools. We call them national service schools because they understand that your service makes you a prime candidate to be a student at their institution. They want to recruit you. And to recruit you, they're going to match your education award. That may be 25%, 50%, all the way up to 100%, doubling your education award. We have several institutions in Missouri who do that right now, either for their entire school or for some of the colleges within the university. So you have Brown School at the Washington University, City Vision University, Columbia College, Lindenwood University, University of Missouri Columbia, and Webster University. The link is there. The link is also on the National Service website to where you can search for schools not only in Missouri. Well, we want to keep you in Missouri, but if you decide you want to go somewhere else, I understand. But if you want to go somewhere else, you can search for schools all over the country who are these national service schools. And this includes undergrad as well as graduate schools. There are a lot of graduate schools who want to recruit you because of your experience as an AmeriCorps member. So use them to get more out of that education award. I know a lot of grad students who utilize their Ed Award plus a match to basically pay 100% of their master's degree. So they didn't have to pay a dime because the school was going to match what they had already put in with their service. So please make sure that you're taking a look at that too, and find ways that you can stretch this dollar as much as you can. Because we know, honestly, the education award is not as much as it should be. That's another policy thing I'll tell you about right now. We are trying to work with Congress to make the education award go farther. What I would love to see happen, and again, it's not going to happen today, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but someday soon, I hope. I would love to see 1 year of service count for 2 years of college. So if you serve in AmeriCorps twice, your college is paid for. I think that is something that this country owes to you all for your service that you do every day, especially during years like this where you served above and beyond what anyone asked you to do. So we're trying. And there are areas where we will continue to push for that. And when you are alumni, and when you are not using federal time, and you are not being paid federal stipends during that time, we would love to get you involved in pushing this kind of stuff, pushing the transferability, pushing the expansion of the education award, as well as working on the tax side of things too. And yeah, Valerie says, I may have to serve again. That's the goal, Valerie. We want you to come back, but we also know we got to make it enticing for you to come back. So we're working on that. The question I see from Maria is, does the 7 years start at the end of your service? Yes, it starts when we put in your end date from your program. So if your program puts in your end date as July 1, 2021, your 7 years start July 1, 2021. So you'll have until June 30, 2028 to use that education award. And you can keep track of it very easily in the My AmeriCorps portal. It will tell you exactly how much education award you have, because some of you have served more than one term, so you're going to have more than one education award. And it's going to tell you when those awards expire. So you can keep track of that right through that My AmeriCorps portal. See a couple more questions here. Can you talk about the process of using the education award for folks who plan to go to school this fall? I will in just a second. So Tatiana, just hang with me here for a moment. Let me see if I am checking anything else. Yeah, I got that question answered. Okay, I think I got everything answered so far. Good. Okay, so a couple myths about the education award. Some folks think that the education award can be written to you in a check and just put in your pocket. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Now, if you ever serve in America, I'm going to close my door real quick because my daughter opened my door and that's annoying. Yeah, telework. Unless you're a AmeriCorps Vista, AmeriCorps Vistas actually can get a prorated education award that's actually in the form of a stipend, but AmeriCorps State and National, all of you who work with the commission and your programs that are here today, that doesn't happen. Your education award never goes to you directly. It will go to the institution or the student loan creditor that you are trying to pay. So they will get the money direct deposited to the institution and it will come off your account. Another issue, and this is a big one, you will not be taxed. That's not correct. You will be taxed. The education award is taxable income on the year you use it. So it's not going to be taxed the year you earned it. It's going to be when you use it. So that means that if you use your entire education award in one tax year, it could very well change your tax liability. So please keep that in mind. You may want to talk to a tax professional if you're kind of worried about that, just to see what using that education award could potentially do. I can't tell you how disheartening it is to have a member, and this has happened to me a couple times in my time doing this, to have a member call me in tears saying that they thought they were going to get a return on their taxes and find out that they actually owe something because of the education award. So please be aware of that for yourself, that this is a taxable income right now. That's another thing on the policy front that we're continuing to work on for you. We are trying to get that income tax-free, not only for the state, but for the feds. And again, I continue to say the same thing because I don't want to make you feel like it's going to happen tomorrow. It's not. But we're hopeful it's going to happen. And we will keep pushing for that because I don't think this should be taxable. But right now it is. Your education award can only be used for tuition. We already talked about that myth, and it's not true. You can use your education award for a lot of things. And again, I would recommend that you go to the National Service Trust and talk to them. Ask them your questions. They'll be able to tell you what your education award can be used for. And again, same idea, the education award can only be used for a college degree. Absolutely not. Your education award can be used for an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, master's degree, doctorate degree, trade school, additional kind of trainings that help you with your career. That all can be used with your education award. You just got to make sure you confirm with the trust before you make that decision that they can send that education award to that institution. And of course, it again can be paid off, can use to pay off student loan debt as well. Okay, so the question I had from Tatiana is, can you talk about the process of using your education award for the folks who plan to use school this fall? Yes. Here's a couple things to keep in mind. Your education award is not accessible until your program exits you out of the program. So you may want to make sure with your program director that they're aware that you want to use your education award as soon as possible, so that they don't delay exiting you out after your term of service. It usually takes about 30 days, roughly, from when your program director actually exits you out of the program, puts that this is a date they're exiting and clicks exit, to when your education award is available to you on the My AmeriCorps portal. So you've got about 30 days to wait there. As soon as that 30 days is done, roughly, you should be able to see your education award available to you in the My AmeriCorps portal. And then what you're going to do is you are going to go in there, and you're using the My AmeriCorps portal. There's some drop-down menus and some information you put in there. You're going to say where you want your education award to go institution-wise. And you're going to say how much money you want that education award, how much of that education award you want used. And that is how you'll work through that process and get it sent. So if you're going to have a bill in the fall at wherever college you're going to, you can absolutely use the education award in the fall. The thing to keep in mind is you're going to have to make sure your program director exits you out on time and wait that little bit of wait time before the system picks you up and kicks you into gear for that. And then always keep in mind too, your institution that you're going to does not know about your education award. It is up to you to work to make sure that education award is sent to your institution. Don't just assume it's going to happen. For one, you may not want to use your education award on tuition this year. You may want to wait. So the education award is not going to be automatically paying for the next tuition that you use. You have to go in there in the My AmeriCorps portal, the same place you applied for AmeriCorps. You need to go in there and you need to designate that you want your education award dollars going to that institution. Okay, and Valerie put a good video up there that walks you through the process. Thank you, Valerie. Great. Excellent. And we may steal that from you too. Excellent. Does anyone else have any questions? Right now on the screen, we've got links to everything. I know you can't click on them right now, but we will get those out to everybody as well too. But you have the Siegel Education Award information there. You have the Schools of National Service matching institutions. You also have, and this one I did not talk about, but there are employers of national service. These are employers who will take your application for employment, and if you've served in AmeriCorps, get you on top of the stack. So these are employers who want to hire you. And there are some major employers out there: Comcast, Disney. There are also small mom and pop shops who are employers of national service. So whatever you're looking for a job, chances are there's somebody out there in that field who wants to hire you because of your AmeriCorps service. So be sure to look at that too. Don't let that go by. And then also there's a listing of all the federal schools that are eligible to receive the education award there as well too. But again, you can find that in the My AmeriCorps portal as well. Let's see. Yeah, Michaela says, I recommend calling whichever school you plan on using it as well. My college didn't have any idea that it was sent to them until I had them do some digging. That's very true, Michaela. And that kind of is, it depends on their experiences with AmeriCorps. Some of the folks in their processing department may have used it tons of times, and sometimes it may be the first time they've run into it. So that is a very good point. If you did transfer that education award and it doesn't show up on your student account as coming off, then you need to contact your college or university or institution of whatever and make sure that they're doing it. I always say advocate for yourself. No one is going to do more advocating for you than you are for yourself. So be sure to step up and make that done. Now, if you run into any problems, if you run into an issue where you know for some reason your education award should work and it's not, that's when you call us or you call the National Service Trust. Again, our job is not just to support you doing your AmeriCorps service. Our job is to support you as an alumni for the rest of your life. So if you ever run into any problems, you call us. We can do what we can to help you out. Yeah, can I put these links in the chat? I will do that as soon as I stop sharing my screen. I will put all those links in the chat for you. Anyone else have any questions for me before we hand it back over to Christina? Awesome. I want to, before I finish up, I just want to say thank you so much for the service that you've already done. I know, and I mentioned this if you were on our Missouri Day last month, none of you signed up for this. It's been a hard year. It's been a stressful year, not only because of AmeriCorps service, but because of what's ever going on in your life right now. And the fact that you served your community throughout this means you're a pretty special person. And again, we are here as your national service family to help you in whatever way we can. So please, 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 always keep us in the loop. Let us know how we can help you. And if you have a great story about what you did with AmeriCorps and you want to share it, as our members did earlier on the day, we want to hear about it. Please always share with us what's going on so we can amplify the great things that you're doing throughout your life. So I will shut up now. Thanks.
Scott.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah, go ahead. There's a question in
did
the
I miss
chat
one?
for you from Alexis.
Okay, I see it. I see it. If we have to go through the portal to use our Edge Award and send it to the school, how would we use our money to buy a computer that was talked about earlier? There's a couple different ways. Sometimes your college or institution bills your computer if you purchase through them on your student account, so you can use it that way. Other ways, you'd have to work with the National Service Trust to figure out what's the opportune way to do that. Honestly, I don't know the ins and outs of that because I don't work for the trust and none of my folks do. So I would call them directly and say, hey, I'd like to do this. How do I do it? And they'll be able to figure out what ways you can and cannot use that education award. I know that's not the best answer in the world, but it's the one I got. And I will put the 800 line in the trust 800 line in the chat too in just a moment. Anything else am I missing? Guys, did I get it all?
Nope, I think that was it.
I think that's it.
Now I'll shut up. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you, Scott. I really appreciate it. Once again, he's going to put the links in the chat box for you guys to have access to. And if you guys do have any questions, please don't reach out to us directly. Other than that, we are going to hear from Ms. Jamie Crispin. She is with the Corporation for National Community Service, our regional office, and she's going to give us some closing remarks today. So thank you again for you guys coming and joining our Life After AmeriCorps event today. Jamie, go ahead.
Hi, Christina. Thanks so much. If you don't mind, if you could put me on as a host, I'm not able to share screen just yet. Hi, everyone. I'm Jamie Crispin. Hey, if y'all are close to your keyboard, can you give the Missouri Commission staff a huge kudos and a thank you for putting together this Life After AmeriCorps session? It takes a lot of energy and some brain power, and they're always so happy to do it. So if we can give some thank yous and some praise to them. And a big kudos to Christina for inviting me and allowing me to come. It truly is an honor to be able to be here. It's some of my most favorite things to be able to talk to AmeriCorps members like yourself. I jumped on just in time to hear Scott give you all some praise as well. And this has been an extraordinary year and extraordinary times, and you all are here and you are making things happen. So thank you for adapting. Thank you for your quick pivots that you've been able to do and your ability to continue to impact the communities. I believe, Christina, can you see a PowerPoint?
Yes, we can. Yes, I can.
Thank you. All right. So here we go, folks. I promise it'll be a short closing remarks, but my name is Jamie Crispin. I am the Senior Portfolio Manager at the AmeriCorps North Central region, which happens to be in Kansas City, Missouri. I get the ability and I have the charge to lead a team to manage the AmeriCorps grants that come through Missouri and Iowa. And that ends up being grants that are given to these fine folks at this commission. These are AmeriCorps Vista grants. They're all of the AmeriCorps Seniors grants. And there is a lot of national service happening in Missouri. And so you all keep us very, very busy. I'm here to talk to you, one, because I love to talk to AmeriCorps members, two, because the Missouri Commission invited me, but three, because I'm a product of the National Service family. I've been in and around National Service for a long time, and I'm here to tell you that it changed my life. And in these closing remarks, I'm hoping I can leave you with a little inspiration in hopes that national service might change your outlook, it might change your attitude, and maybe it might change your life like mine. I have this adorable picture of my family up because they are adorable, but also to share with you, sometimes a byproduct of being an AmeriCorps is you have an AmeriLove and you get married and have an AmeriFamily. And I'm here to tell you that's exactly what happened to me. I met my partner in AmeriCorps, National Civilian Community Corps, and with our AmeriLove came our AmeriFamily. So we are made in AmeriCorps. I heard a lot of some good things being talked about. I share the screen to hopefully anchor us in the rest of the conversation, is that AmeriCorps members are asked to do extraordinary things and they get things done. And through your term of service, maybe in some good days and in some bad days, you learned lots of things. There was research done many years ago by a group of AmeriCorps alums, now Service Year Alliance, that talked about the top 5 skills that AmeriCorps alums bring to their post AmeriCorps careers. And they're summed up here, and I want to say them out loud: initiative, interpersonal communication, adaptability, collaboration, and accountability. And I hope as you're seeing those, that there are examples coming to your head from your term of service of where you made this happen and you used this skill. And maybe your term of service stretched you in this way or strengthened this skill. I put these up here because I think it's always good to think about a moment where you could see this play out. This is also very good when you're crafting your resume and you're putting AmeriCorps experience on your resume. This is also some really great talking points when you go to interviews, where you think of these top 5 skills and how you use them in your term of service. The other thing I want to say is that, and some of you might recognize this lady that I'm pictured here with. She's a project director from Harvesters, Amy Pinger. There are lots of different ways that national service can develop into a career. And I'll share a little bit of how I got here. But for those of you who love what you're doing, you love impacting the community, you know, national service, military service, public service are all great avenues for you to engage in this work and to stay connected. And we could use you now more than ever. We need folks like you who are service-minded, who believe in community engagement. We want you to support our communities. I'm an AmeriCorps staff member, so I'm a federal employee. Federal jobs are posted through USA Jobs. America's Service Commission, like your wonderful Missouri Commission staff here, have a job board. You can work at different commissions or promote or be with projects or programs that have AmeriCorps members. There's also the AmeriCorps Alum or Service Year Alliance job board. Even if you're not technically an AmeriCorps alum yet, you are still able to go ahead and sign up as an AmeriCorps alum officially and then look at their job board. Many folks go on to FEMA, to Peace Corps. Any of the community partners that your organization works with right now, maybe looking to recruit somebody with your skills and your talents and your experience. I love it when I hear AmeriCorps programs are hiring folks on who were AmeriCorps members. I love it. The other thing I'll say, and I think Scott noted this, there's something called Employers of National Service. It's over 600 companies or organizations who said that they appreciate and want AmeriCorps alums or returned Peace Corps volunteers to be part of their organizations. So even more important to put your experience on your resume. There are lots of ways to be able to continue this work if you're interested. I want to get a little personal here and share moments. And there are 2 moments that I think summarize me as a national service professional that I'd like to share out. If you're looking at the screen, you see that there's one that has a calendar. And for me, August 14th of 2019 at 3:50 p.m. is very important and significant to me. I bet none of you would know what you were doing around that time or date. You could probably take a guess and you would probably be right. But for me, what I can tell you is that this moment was so important to me that I snapped a picture on my phone, and I look at it sometimes to remember how important that moment was. And it was the moment that the human capital representative from AmeriCorps called me to say that they were going to offer me a position of senior portfolio manager. It was in that moment when I thought about another moment And that leads me to the second picture where I've tagged June 2004. This was young Jamie Crispin, who was a very idealistic and in some ways naive team leader for the National Civilian Community Corps. My charge was to lead a group of 18 to 24-year-olds, a group of 10 individuals to do short-term projects in some various states. And I was with them for 10 months trying to do this. This was the hardest year of my life, although rivaled with my time as being senior portfolio manager currently, where I learned and was stretched personally and professionally in lots of ways. And the moment that it took me back to was in our fifth project and our final project with my AmeriCorps and CCC team. We were working at an Easter SEALs camp where we were working with adults with mental delays. And the final event was a prom night. And my team got all dressed up and the campers got all dressed up and we attended a prom. And as a team leader, I would always be surveying the room, looking for my team members to make sure that they were happy, they were healthy, they were being safe. And there was a moment in this dance where the music was going on and I took a step back and put on my team leader hat and I looked out and all 10 of my Corps members were not only engaged in partying and having fun with these campers, they were smiling, they were laughing, they were turning around folks in wheelchairs and dancing. And it was a moment that has imprinted on my heart and continues to take my breath away when I think about it, because it was in that moment that I saw the impact that national service can have. And I felt it in my bones. And so when I got that call on August 14th saying that I was being offered a position and I could come home to an organization that changed my life, I knew it was going to be monumental. And I snapped that picture so that I could keep it and look at it and that it would evoke this emotion for me later. I share this in that I want to leave you with your challenge. What is your moment? And I hope that even with your term of service being difficult, hard, and maybe sometimes not great, that there is something you're going to take away from your term of service that is going to have changed you or has given you inspiration. And my challenge is that you snap a picture of that before you finish and before you exit. Maybe it's your boot in dirt because you're doing disaster work. Maybe it's a pencil on a desk because you're tutoring children. Maybe it's a box of food. I think it's so important that you walk away from your term of service knowing what you feel good about and what changed you. And I hope you will snap a picture. I hope you'll keep it on your phone. I invite you that you can certainly send it to me. Share your story with me, send it to Scott, let us know how it was so important to you that this is the moment that you're going to take away from your term of service. And with that, I want to thank you all for what you accomplished this year and even more for what you will accomplish in your life after AmeriCorps. Thank you and good luck. And Christina, I'll turn it back over to you if there's anything else you need to end with.
No, Jamie, thank you so much for all your closing remarks. I hope that you all got something out of this and were able to take some great notes, maybe get some questions answered that you guys had for any education or your Siegel Education Award, or just the opportunities that are in the chat box and within the workforce development. But I want to say thank you, Scott, Jamie, Chad, Christine, and all the participants, Danielle, Anna, Natalie, and Julie. Thank you all for participating in this today. And please feel free to reach out to all of us or any of us in reference if you have any questions in reference to your Siegel Education Award or how we can help you further with any of your service. Other than that, that's all. So thanks for attending. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.